is get a baseline number, hopefully, with what this 6.2 from the Escalade with an LSA on it will make at the wheels through a 6L80 transmission, because we have an American Powertrain T56 conversion in the box all ready to go for this car. But before we rip it out, we want to find out what it does, so we can take it back. We can find out what the power at the ground difference is from the 6-speed automatic and 6-speed manual. We're not going to do any kind of drivability or any tuning of actual tuning other than wide open, because all we're going to do is get a power number and then tear this car apart. And then it won't matter to mess with transmission shifts and all that, because you're going to go in there and turn that segment off once we have the T56 in there. That's right. For some background, this engine is completely as it was out of the Escalade. Before the Escalade was turboed, it had the stock 6.2, and I put an LSA blower on it. It was on 10 pounds with a BTR positive displacement stage 3 cam in it, Deca 60 injectors, pump 93, no E85, and that thing went 1188 at 117 miles an hour, weighing 5,700 pounds. Math says this thing should be over 600 wheel, less than 650, but we have no idea. The Escalade was never dynoed because it was still all-wheel drive back then. So this will be kind of interesting just to find out how much power the Escalade actually had back then. That was like the first build that actually worked well. Kind of before that, everything I touched got messed up. This car, everything I touched before the Escalade was this car, and it got messed up. So some things never change, I guess, but maybe they will today. We'll find out. Are you optimistic?
Yeah. Because
we pulled in to get gas and randomly pulled up to pump number 3. Yep. We might have some good luck today. No, I shut the camera off. I didn't think you were doing anything. So what?
Oh, you missed that?
What just happened?
I don't know. It just
you manually
looking through the gears manually on the computer, and something wasn't happy.
You click third and it went into reverse.
It appears that somehow it went into reverse.
I have no explanation for this.
I don't really either.
I don't know how it.
Maybe it's the shifter where it doesn't detent, and it was maybe in between gears, and clicking that it tried to actuate. I don't know.
I don't either.
I've never had that happen.
I'm not. Yeah, so I don't know.
That was a new one.
I'm not even surprised. This car is weird.
Right.
I can't wait to get this transmission out of here. But we have to make it do something before we take it out, because we need this valuable information.
It started going backwards that easy.
That's weird. Yeah, the wheel slowed down.
I mean, like no grinding, no nothing. It just, hey, I'm in reverse now.
I thought that was part of your procedure. I didn't know. You were just sitting in the driver's seat, like your face didn't change or anything. I figured it was something you were doing, but the whole time I was like, this is weird. If it starts to go backwards, I'll start telling you. Was everything normal that time?
It's normal. I just wanted to roll into it a little bit and see if it was going to hold the gear, and it's not. I'm going to have to, just going to have to change the trans tune to stay in that gear. For whatever reason, the manual control wouldn't hold it, and it was downshifting. I locked the converter as well.
Protect us, Mr. Yellow Corvette. Protect us from our own creation. Let's go get the feedback. Looks like it worked.
It held that time. It didn't. I had to put some pressure in it. The converter was unlocking and it was dropping down, so I just had to change the tune. So we should be good now. Just got it settled on the dyno, so I'm gonna look over the little blip that I've got, make sure we're good, and we'll rip it.
Okay. Was that 543?
Yeah. I'll have to flip it over and set it up, see what kind of torque it made, but that wasn't a full pull. It looked like it was starting to go lean, so I'm gonna try to make some changes to it, see what's going on.
What RPM was that to?
That was 67.
Okay.
It just got there really quick. But we are, and I pulled a bunch of timing out of it from where it was just to where we could make sure the air fuel was good. Problem is it's going lean, showing 103% duty cycle. So I don't know if we're dropping fuel pressure. Has it got a port we can put a gauge on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's got the factory Schrader valve on the...
Okay.
I had a problem like this before, but it ended up being that a bunch of RTV came off the hat when I tightened it down and it got clogged in the sock. So I put a new sock on it, and it just had that pump out a couple months ago, and there was nothing in the sock.
Okay.
So it shouldn't be that. If it's dropping pressure, then the pump's not doing its job.
But it's a 450?
It's a 400, I think.
400.
They advertise it as a 400, but...
Yeah, but I mean, that should be enough for this thing.
Yeah. So we're trying to rig up a fuel pressure gauge to see if it's dropping pressure up top, which it probably is. Something I remembered is when this setup was in the Escalade, it had one of those hot wire kits on it, which basically is a relay that lets the fuel pump be powered directly from the alternator. And this one, I just used the factory, like whatever came with the harness power feed, which is just a little 10 gauge wire. I don't even know if it's 10 gauge, but it may not have enough nut to power this pump the way it needs to be powered. So I guess we're going to tape my phone to the fender. This is a real bad idea. Don't do this at home.
We'll give it a shot.
Yeah, we'll see if this works. At least you got a foam underneath there, so if it does fall off and go down to the ground, it'll be okay. Probably.
Hopefully.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Okay, it's rolling. We're gonna get some really cool sounds from this, at least.
Yeah.
Maybe. Didn't go quite as far that time, but we'll hopefully get some information from it. Did the phone survive? Don't know.
Still there.
It's still there. Okay, what does the phone data log have to say for this? Let's find out. As soon as you punch it, it starts to go. When it's
let me just fire it up and let it idle and see what it is idling.
Okay.
With the vacuum on it.
On your gauge, mine says 58.
It's making roughly 10 pounds of boost. So with it being boost reference, it should be around 72. And we're going to 40, so we're losing basically 30 pounds.
Yeah.
So she's not gonna hold up.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to fix the fuel pressure before we can see what it does.
Well, dang. At least we made some actually kind of progress.
That's right. Well, we've got made a few changes to the trans tune to where it doesn't downshift now. and we didn't make a pull in reverse. So
Yeah,
I mean,
that's a win.
that's a win. So
Yeah, maybe we could try to get that bigger pump in there, or run a relay to power it from the alternator like it was in the Escalade.
yeah, either do a hot wire like you're talking about. Yeah, it's hard to say what it is. I mean, I guess if it's a really small wire, I would start there first.
Yeah.
And then we'll go from there. It's what?
It's gonna need the hot wire regardless.
It should, yeah. You know, most CTSVs, their pumps are pretty badass anyway, and then some of them they put booster pumps on. But you know, you've normally got the fuel pump flow control module, and it's cranking the voltage up to it just like a booster pump would. So with this thing, if you're, you know, not getting the voltage back there, then that's probably what we got going on.
Yeah. Little wire. I don't know why I never thought of that. If that's how the Escalade was, and that's how this thing probably should be too.
Yeah.
I feel like we got to do that before taking the transmission out, because then we don't learn anything.
Yeah, you don't know the full potential right now. I mean, you know it'll make it leans out so quick. You can just watch the. I mean, it just clicks it off quickly. I mean, I shut it
right there.
Yeah, I shut it down. You know, it didn't go as high as it did before, but and you can see their fuels. I mean, they're way too lean, but it snaps there so quick. But
can you explain what injector duty cycle means to people who may not be familiar with that?
It's just the easiest way to explain it is it's how far how hard the injector's working. The injector pulses, and the higher the cycle is, the less number of pulses it is. So basically, when you're getting up 100% or more, it's almost like the injector is just wide open, dumping everything it can dump. So they're doing everything they can do. They're just not being fed enough.
Other informational sake, what duty cycle would you say someone should put bigger injectors in? Like, is it safe to run your car at 95% duty cycle if you're going wide open?
We've ran some of the CTSVs around 100% duty cycle, but you've got to be careful doing that. It's not what I would really like to do. I'd like to see them no higher than in the 80s, somewhere like that. Less is better, but you don't want to get them so big that you're, you know, doing 50% duty cycle, because then you got way too big of an injector.
Somebody asked me that the other day, and I was like, well, I don't really know what the good, you know, how much headroom you actually want to have is.
Yeah, I feel like 70, 75, 80% is probably, I would think, I mean, that's what I've normally done. I know everybody's going to be a little bit different, and some tuners might say, well, that's dumb. You know, you can run it on up to 100. I don't know. Everybody's different, you know? So, and I'm not going to knock how anybody does anything. There's plenty of ways of doing it, but there's no way for us to get more pressure without getting the voltage fixed, I guess. Or
Yeah.
Try that first.
Yeah, we'll get that figured out. That shirt on the dashboard is for you, by the way.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yep, it's the Monte Carlo shirt.
That's right.
The car that did not do any damage to your precious floor.
Not
today.
yet. Not yet. Right.
I will take this outcome over something breaking.
Over a hole in the floorboard?
Yeah, a hole in the floor. That's good. You know what we get to do now? Another relay.
Wait, what?
The fuel pump is not getting enough power, we think, from its little feed wire.
Wait, so the one I did up?
No, yours is fine. You did the fan. The fans are great.
Oh, okay.
How are the fans working?
You did a good job. You did great.
Oh, okay.
We're staying cool.
The fans are
We
good.
just don't have enough fuel.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the little wire that's feeding the fuel pump isn't getting enough power to the pump at the high RPM that it needs to like spin the pump faster. So what we got to do is use that wire as the trigger wire for a relay that will let the power feed right from the alternator. So it can get, you know, like a thicker wire. There's less resistance. It gets, you know, the pump might only be getting 10 volts at high RPM, so it's not pumping it.
Oh, so it's not the pump's problem, it's the wiring?
Probably. That's like the first logical thing to try.
I feel like you should replace the pump anyway, because I thought you thought it was up before.
Yeah,
if it got a piece of trash in it, it could have, you know, if it starved it, it could have hurt that pump as well.
Well, if we're gonna go in there, we might as well do both.
Yeah.
Then it'll be bulletproof. Because we're gonna have to have that be good anyway before T56 goes in. Because it doesn't matter what, you know.
Yeah, don't ruin that.
Yeah.
You're good at that.
Ruining stuff, yeah. Especially when it comes to this car. This car's done a lot of ruining of things, including my spirit. That's a cool shirt.
Thanks.
Where can people find Mr. Jeff?
Man, I don't know if I want to tell everybody. No, I'm just kidding. Just on Instagram or Facebook, Heintz Racing.
What conditions should they not bother you? What do you like say?
That's
Say
a good point.
Let's see. What don't we want, Corey? Any old F bodies like I've got that are worn out, screwed up wiring harnesses.
Anything C5 F body, early C6 with a lot of miles on it.
Yeah, there you go. Nothing that's all wore out. We just, you know, no, that's not gonna happen.
yeah,
I mean, you know, you're gonna get what you get. So
yeah, like this pile.
whatever.
You pretend like you're wearing it. Brand new shirt, just got added to the website. The one we're both wearing. Where can you find those at?
StapletownAutoworks.com.
Who packs them?
Me.
Every single order gets a handwritten note signed by both of us. Usually we have nice note cards, but we're out of them. We have more in the mail, so you might get like a random piece of paper or something, but it's the thought that counts, right?
Yeah, I was having to improvise. I feel like it looks trashy or something.
It's authentic. We're just people.
Zero notepad, post-it note, whatever I can get to.
Yeah, it all comes from right here.
Sticker.
Just us. We got some other cool shirts too. We need to update our
Well, I just
supply
moved
here.
that from a different area of the shop over there. I didn't fix anything after I moved it. That's exactly how I moved it.
Yeah,
They're heavy.
we're so unkept. We're like in the middle of finishing the renovation on the other half of the shop, so there's still stuff blown out everywhere, but you know,
Oh, we have Dale.
it's okay. We got Cardboard Dale, and Cardboard Herm had to take a break because he fell over,
Yeah.
so he needs a little help.
Oh, this one should be like even.
Yeah. Yeah, we still got some of these left in the larger sizes. Just came out with these Dale Earnhardt looking pit crew uniforms from like the early 90s. This would have been from like 88. And like the Monte Carlo shirt, both with the Good Wrench style logo with that car on it. You want me to do it?
Yeah.
We haven't done one of these long, drawn-out, horrible bonus footage plugs at the end of anything in a long time, but we got these too.
Well, if the go-kart had gas, then we could like do donuts around the shop and the living room, but it ain't got no gas.
It ain't got no gas. We also got these license plates too.
Yeah.
You can hang them anywhere that it will fit, and it's funny. So